I'd like to call the July 6th Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. It's 9 a.m. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Matt Dragmeister, please lead us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Public comments or live social media? I have a feeling there aren't any this morning.
Nope, none yet.
All right, anybody from the public? No? Okay. Clerk Treasurer, claims approval.
Okay, we've got payroll from 6/24/2022 in the amount of $482,321.84.
Move we approve the payroll?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have quarterly payroll. This is the merit pay for fire and police in the amount of $1,926.88.
I move we approve the quarterly payroll?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. And this isn't for the fitness
No.
test. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
That already happened, remember?
Yes.
Okay, we have civil city claims in the amount of $749,667.84, which includes 2020 GO bond payment, a fire truck lease purchase payment, and then repayment of temporary loans for fire and police pensions.
I move we approve the civil city claims?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have water claims in the amount of $362,927.44, which includes 2 water bond payments.
Move we approve the water claims?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
And Jerry's lucky, his bond payments don't happen until September. So sewage claims are $40,669.09.
Move we approve the sewage claims?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Exciting Paylocity.
So Board of Works has already approved the Paylocity agreement. What's not exciting is that we have had, on both sides, Paylocity side and our side, we've had some staffing issues and things that have happened that we're outside of the length of the term of our agreement, the dates. So this is the same exact agreement, it's just changing dates, as was already approved.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, so discussion.
So we're moving the range?
The date range, yeah. So Jen Knoll left, who was kind of leading the charge. Andrea started. Paylocity, we had one implementation specialist that we were not comfortable working with.
Well, and they terminated him.
Yeah.
Paylocity terminated.
And so several things have happened. We've been chugging along, giving them information, but,
They couldn't get your GL accounts ready before we ran a parallel payroll.
and I wasn't gonna do payroll until the GL accounts were set up because it would be a nightmare for my office, so,
So
The
we all seem to be
GL
working
accounts,
together.
I'm trying to understand the GL accounts on
so
their end.
every payroll, every department comes from a different appropriation, and they couldn't
Right.
set up all of those different.
Like to map them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so they told me that would happen, 2 payrolls in, and I was like, not acceptable, that's not gonna happen, because then it would take us 2 weeks to map all that stuff on the back end, and our payroll program currently already does that, so I'm not gonna move backwards to
We
move.
have to manually do a lot of that work that they should have done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ask away.
Well, we've been working with them already? This is an
Yes.
agreement that's from when? When did we approve this? Sorry.
Probably, I mean, when Jen was here, so probably 6 months ago, 4 months ago. Yes, we've been working with them,
Early
yes.
this year.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is just a Paylocity employee issue that's made this take so long to implement and get
Well,
in
it's,
place?
I mean, it was kind of stalled on our side too, because when Jen left,
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not paying anything
No,
additional. The
no.
money's the same.
No, we have paid nothing. We have paid nothing. We're not paying anything until we're set up and running payroll. So this is the same exact agreement, except for changing dates.
And when does it begin?
This is actually.
just says the quote
This is
for-
actually, we're not starting until October 1st. We're waiting until seasonals are
Okay,
done,
good.
because that's been a nightmare as well.
Well, and that'll be a quarter end as well.
yes, yep.
So you'll be through the first 3
Yes.
quarters. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good starting point for us. Again, the seasonals will be, most of the seasonals will be gone. So we should start with a fresh, clean slate, and then the GL accounts should be loaded by then.
Okay.
And again, we'd rather get it right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we weren't gonna move forward until it was right, so.
No,
Yeah.
that's one thing you cannot goof up is payroll.
No.
And this will free up a lot of admin's times.
Yeah, it will, it will.
Okay.
Hopefully my
And
time
your
as well.
time.
Hopefully my time as well, and your time.
Yeah, all the way around. it
Andrea
should
and
be
I are on board,
efficient.
we're ready for it, it just has to be done the right way, and, yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah, it was a cooperation from Paylocity, the initial setup person with us that really took this sideways.
Interesting. Okay.
Further discussion? All in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Amendment to Civic Director.
Thank you. We have, for 2022, the civic director, the salary is split in thirds, between, and CVB is part of that. So this amendment agreement actually allows CVB to pay us $18,000 for Brett Benversi's salary.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion. And again, our goal, as you've been aware, is the Civic to be sustaining itself, generating enough revenue. Mark won't look at me when I say that.
He's looking.
But, you know, there's enough events now, we're being proactive, and so we're excited, but this is a good part of that as well. Further discussion?
Where's the other third come from? Sorry, you said it was split in thirds. So city,
Civic.
CVB.
Civic, so the park department pays for part of it, CVB, and I don't know, I'll get that for you. Let
Okay.
me go look at that. I should have had that for the meeting, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We've had, how long have we had the CVB agreement? I mean,
Since 2014.
2014.
they've been a good partner for events
Absolutely.
at the Civic.
And we want to thank them for Lake Fest, for NIBC that's coming up, so, and maybe more events at the Civic. So with that, all in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Department head reports. Andrea Smith,
Who's here?
Human Resources.
Good morning, board members. Andrea Smith, Director of Human Resources. I just have a few announcements here because I will be back under, for job description revisions. So we have a few good things happening here, a little out of the realm, but for those of you who need a hernia screening, we are offering free hernia screenings, and that will be held July 27th at Porte. You are to call 326-2048. Again, those are free, 326-2048 for city employees. We've never done it in the past. They wanted us to, offer it out there because a lot of people may have a hernia and not know it. And on July...
The mayor's making the department heads do some heavy lifting, so that's not,
I was scared where you were going with that for a minute, so
That's true. And then again, July 13th is our free Medicare Lunch and Learn here in City Hall at 11:30 a.m.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Dan Drake Code.
violations at this time to date. And working on, did one condemnation last week for violations of electrical and sewage, and working on a couple more.
And just as a reminder, we receive calls from residents about the grass, people not cutting their grass. It's not, I mean, you drive around looking for that, but we receive a lot of calls, and that's why you focus on the grass. Also, there are houses that have, are sitting dilapidated due to a fire, due to something, and there's a process in place. We've had a lot of calls for the house on Monroe and a house over on John Street. We are working with that every week, but we don't control all the outcomes. Insurance companies, others, and so forth, we want them down as quickly as the public does.
We do have an order for demo on the one on Monroe.
Great. Perfect. Thank you. Craig Phillips, Planning.
Good morning, board members. So the first thing to announce is that the public offering for the Don George property went out and was advertised. We're giving potential bidders roughly 45 days to submit bids. So those will be due to you for the August 16th meeting. So just keep that on your calendar. And also that was sent out to a significant number of people that may be potentially interested in the project as well. So that's one thing. We'll also start to work on the additional steps necessary to get the 18th Street property between A and I Streets out for bid in the near future as well. Work continues on the parking study. I've received some initial feedback and information based on the inventory and counts that were taken as part of that work. So they're working on compiling that information and then kind of switching into the focus on the management phase of the project. So we'll hopefully be getting a lot more information on that in the coming weeks. In addition to that, work continues on the first phase of the Monroe Streetscape project as well, so working in conjunction with the city engineer and our consultants on that. And then in addition to that, Jeff Batchelor and I have been working diligently with our consultants that we are partnered with through the Healthcare Foundation on a housing study to take a look at some of the core areas of the city near the downtown area, how we can improve housing in those areas, but also taking a look at housing overall within the community. So that's all I have to offer today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mike Fraze, Streets.
We're in the process still grinding. We're grinding the rest of the division today, Bond and North. Tomorrow it'll be on Darlington from the tracks to Factory Street, and then patching.
A lot of roads are being done. We've had a lot of compliments, so thank you to you, Nick, the whole Jerry, Tim, the whole entire team for making it happen.
All right, thank you.
Beth West, Transport.
Good morning. Those that don't know, we're in the middle of doing a special offer for our passes. We have an orange summer fun pass that we're selling for $20 for our riders, whether senior or general. As of 8 o'clock this morning, we've sold 184 passes. We have until the 9th. We kind of extended it this week so people that had their benefit checks were able to still get some of the passes. As of this morning also, we've had 17 already used. The passes are a 10-ride pass, and then they get an 11th ride for free. So we're kind of excited that people are already starting to use them. For the holiday weekend, July 1st and 2nd, we had over 230 riders, which is a lot in a very short amount of time. And June, we're doing our quarterlies right now for NERC, and June we had 3,112 riders. It was better than June of 2019. So that was pre-COVID. So we're very excited with our numbers, and we're continuing to rise. Like I had reported before, we were a little concerned with the schools being dismissed for summer that it was going to hurt our ridership, and so far it hasn't. So we're excited about that.
And then Credit to Beth leading the charge for Fair Week with transport.
Right, yes. I have gotten in touch with the Fair Board. I went out last week and walked around with one of the board members, and we have come up with a plan for our buses to be able to get in and out of the fair in a reasonable amount of time without having to sit in traffic on State Road 2. We're actually going to go in a back way. Just to remind the public, it's not a shuttle service. You still have to call and schedule your rides, but we're going to hopefully be able to get in and out of the fair a lot faster than what we have the last few years. Drivers are very excited about it, so we'll start testing it next week and see how it works.
So if you want to avoid the long lines for the concerts, have transport pick you up and drop you
Yeah,
off.
yep.
So if someone gets dropped off and they want to ride home, they have to call from
Right.
the fair and say, I want to be picked up.
Right, yes. This year, we're keeping our hours normal, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. If it goes well, we have a lot of interest in it. We're going to maybe talk about extending our hours for Fair Week next year to be able to get people in and out for the concerts. But there is now a designated pickup and drop-off point out at the fair. It's going to be marked. There's going to be benches for people to sit and wait for us to show up. Again, it's not a shuttle service, but it's still a designated area, whereas before we didn't have one. So we're very excited about it.
Mr. Kosher asked, I know he whispered before the meeting about getting dropped off at the Elephant Ear. That'd be a great spot to start, right?
From what I've been told, the spot that we drop you off, there's a walkway behind, it'll be the walkway behind the horse and pony area. Just past that, there's an inside shuttle service. The fair is actually running a 6-person golf court shuttle service throughout the fairgrounds, so you can get on their shuttle and ride it around in the fairgrounds.
So you've got an express route.
Right.
From the drop off.
Right to
Elephant
Ears.
Midways.
Yep.
So
I will be ready.
Exactly.
the pickup though, you got to walk to get out there to
Yeah.
kind of burn
Yep.
off some of the
Not
elephant
far.
ears, right?
Yeah, not far at all.
Thank you. Mark Schreiber, Parks.
Morning.
Morning.
First of all, just to clarify on the Civic Director, it's 30% by the CVB, the rest is
Oh, I'm
Civic
sorry.
non-reverting. So it's revenues that the Civic creates that pays the remainder of his salary, so. Just want to thank everybody for the 4th of July fireworks. Great crowd, tremendous out at Fox Park. Thanks to the Symphony Orchestra, Tim King for putting on a beautiful performance. Many people were out there to enjoy that, and I want to thank Police and Fire, Chief Brenton, Chief Snyder for all their response, for safety, getting the traffic out. The police did a tremendous job of getting the crowd shuffled out of all the people that were compacted down into Fox Park. So much appreciated. Just want to remind the public, our next night bike ride is Friday. That takes off from the park office. You can register in advance, or you can register that night starting at 8. And the ride goes off at 9, 13-mile ride around town. And also want to remind the public of our free summer playground program. We still have about 4 weeks left, I believe. Summer is starting to actually starting to wind down. But that's available at Rumley, Ben Reese, Scott, Allacy, and Kumler Parks. It's a free program for the kids to come 4 days a week. All of the hours and days of the week are on our website, laporteparkandrec.com.
And Mark, great job. I mean, every day I start out waking up with probably 4 or 5 complaints, and the July 4th, the 5th, not one. From start to finish, from the parade, everything, not one complaint. Everybody, I think, really loved it. I really appreciated being out at Fox Park, the amphitheater, and it was a great, perfect weather, great night.
Yeah, weather turned out great, and I also want to give credit to our lifeguards this year. We've had just huge crowds out at Stone Lake Beach. July 3rd, I've never seen more people on the beach than we had that day. Usually July 4th is our biggest day of the year. July 3rd this year being on a Sunday, I think that kind of built up the crowd, but our lifeguards have done a tremendous job of dealing with the increase in traffic out there, and of course, we've had the improved concessions with Costa Crave, and it's just been a big success story out there this year. We're really thrilled with the attendance.
Thank you. Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning. The summer issue of Travel Indiana magazine has been released. It's a festival issue, so I was able to work with them. It features Lake Fest as well as Sunflower Fair, in addition to our other scheduled ads with them. That is several, I don't have the exact numbers, but it's several thousand copies that get distributed around the state. So hopefully that does some good for us this year as we try to promote our events. Also, Taco Fest is this Friday. This is the rescheduled date. We had some bad weather back in May. It'll be 6 to 10 p.m. at La Stitch. And a big thank you to Ornette Construction for being our sponsor. That's all I have.
Thank you. And before we move on to public safety, I mean, our fire and police did an amazing job to keep everybody safe on July 4th. Unfortunately, with the incident at Highland Park, it doesn't go away, and we still need to be diligent and be prepared and proactive. Could we take a moment of silence for those individuals that lost their life in Highland Park? Thank you. So we have to continue to look at being proactive, put politics aside, Republicans, Democrats, and, do what we can to keep our community safe and not be reactive. We're working on different things, having discussions from mental health to families to drug situations, but we have to address this. Guns as well, and have a community discussion, and leadership comes from our fire, comes from our police comes from our mental health community, legislators, everybody across the board, and we hope we can come up with ideas and thoughts that kind of set a standard and other communities can follow. We are working on those things, and it is a top priority when we look back and say, what did we do to make a difference? What did we do to keep our children safe, our community safe? So we're going to continue to do so. We've been given enough what I think are warning signs, not only on a national level, but at a local level, that we don't want to wait to see something happen here. So, Andy Snyder, fire.
Thank you, Mayor. Take a little bit off on what Mark said. We had an unusually quiet 4th of July, which in our business is a good thing. Made up for it a little bit yesterday. Had a house fire and a 3-car accident with extrication at the same time, but our crews were able to handle it and take care of everybody on both fronts. Maybe some minor injuries, but good there. Leading into next week, with the fair, we will have the Edith House out there all week long, and we will have it staffed, so please stop out and see us.
Chief Breton.
Going along with that, Red Wine and Brew, we had a busy weekend with, as far as events. Bethany Lutheran puts on the Red Wine and Brew. They had about 6,500 people out there Friday night. I had 12 officers out there that volunteered their time, which is tremendous for that good support. Going into the 4th, once again, no events to speak of, anything out of the ordinary. Very positive crowd, same thing with the fireworks. I think we had that covered with Mark very well. And then we go into the fair. Our officers will be working the gates at the fair this year to get the extra manpower. And then touching on the 4th of July, we've already begun our discussions on what we're going to do next year, how we're going to try to keep things safer. We see the problems at Highland Park. We sure don't want that here. And like I told the mayor, we hit the ground running, already planning.
And maybe it was just this year, but I noticed a lot more officer coverage. E-bikes were fantastic. They were constantly up and down the route.
How about those socks?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, I did.
Yes, and I thought you were talking about the White Sox for a minute, but there wasn't much to talk about there. But no, I just felt like there was good coverage throughout the route, and the e-bikes are coming, and thank you to the Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte, because without them, that wouldn't have happened. But it was good to see some people or officers being very proactive. I felt safe, so. Also, as we talk about police and fire, as we pass the LIT, the local income tax for public safety, I've asked Chief Snyder, Chief Breton to put together a plan of what they see those dollars used for. Collection for that from taxpayers will begin in October. We will receive our first installment in January and then monthly from there. And those dollars are used to be proactive, as I've used the term, with our police, fire, and public safety. So we're excited, and from a police perspective, I want to see people walking a beat, walking the neighborhoods, e-biking the neighborhoods, kicking in doors when necessary, and having enough officers to do so. Fire, we're looking at, we've talked about making sure coverage time is even better for those in need, when an ambulance is called, when services are needed. And I know Chief Snyder's putting those plans together, and makes the status quo feel uncomfortable, but we have to do right for our residents. And so if there's any concerns there by our Board of Works team, please reach out to both chiefs, and we're excited for January, what that could bring. Nick Otis, legal?
Nothing specific on legal since the last meeting. We've had the NIBC tournament. 2 La players were drafted in the top 10 in the NBA. You're not eligible for the draft till after your freshman year of college, so kids that played this year will be eligible next year. So if you come and watch it, you'll probably see people that are going to be in the NBA someday.
And rumor has it maybe 2 more teams in addition to what we had last year, so.
What are the dates on that? You have those?
Mark, do you know the dates of the NIBC?
Yeah, it's first weekend of January.
Okay.
Nick Minnick, engineering.
I just wanted to kind of go back to street paving and really the street department and everything that Mike Fraze and Jeff Batchelor are working on. It saves us so much money having that department haul the millings and do that type of work. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that. So street paving will continue. We'll keep paving streets. We've got more projects yet this fall, but just wanted to make sure I voice my appreciation too.
Also, I want to give them credit. They fixed a sidewalk issue on Ohio. So their time is limited with everything they're required, but it looks fantastic. And the neighbors couldn't have been happier. So we're starting to look to see maybe in the fall, more sidewalk work that the street department can do internally in addition to what's, being bid out. So great job. Jerry Jackson, wastewater.
Got a call from the National Guard out of Indianapolis. They're interested in extending water and sewer to the detachment out here on State Road 2. They're right now budgeting, and it's like probably 3 years out before that would occur. It would be in conjunction with some improvements to the detachment. So kind of a nice thing that may come about.
Are they in the city limits?
They're not. We talked about that issue too.
So where is that? I should know, but on the north side there.
The north side is part of the fairgrounds.
But you're talking about that armory building?
Yes.
So east, where does the city line stop? Do you know?
At 39, State Road 39.
Okay. So those homes would have to be interested, which I would assume.
Potentially, or that wooded property adjacent to the north would give us connectivity, I believe.
Almost all of NIPSCO's property, which spans from Ziegler all the way over to State Road 2 and 39 there, is in the city. So there's a county parcel that's kind of attached to the fair, and that's what would be between the two.
But also the homes.
If they would be interested.
Water and sewer.
The guard rep said, if there's a way to serve more customers as you route it, please do. That makes good sense for everybody. So.
And so what we're seeing is with residential homeowners, you can actually, due to the property tax caps, pay less than what you're paying in property taxes in the county. So that might be an option to talk to them, and they may want to receive their services, so.
And sewer, water get new customers.
We know you like that, Jim. Absolutely. I think Tim likes his water customers.
And then we had a lightning strike on our our CSO pump station out of the treatment plant back on, it'd be a week ago Saturday. We're not sure what it hit, but it took out just about anything that was connected to the, to the lagoon. Took out four drives that run the pumps. The pumps are okay. The drives maybe 5,000-6,000 each. I'm still trying to find them with delivery issues. We've done some temporary work, had some help with MCOR, and have enough pump running that we can empty the lagoon after a rain. It also took out our big 2 emergency valve operators that if there's a tremendous rain, we have to release wastewater, those 2. So those can be actually operated by hand. So I'm right now trying to hunt down replacement parts for the drives, and we still are evaluating the valve operators because we don't know what exactly internally got burnt. Also talking to insurance about what that might cover and what our deductibles and everything.
Tim Werner, Water.
Good morning and thank you. We will be installing the well pump back at EPB. I know I've talked about it before. We had it cleaned and there was some pump damage. It took a little time to get it back, so we're hoping to get that in this week. That way all the wells will be back up and running. We're also scheduling our well pump and test flow. That helps us determine what wells we're going to get cleaned in the fall and over the winter. It's key not to let those wells drop off too much. It's a lot easier to get those percentages back instead of waiting until we start noticing a big drop off on them. And then working ahead of the paving list still. The maintenance crew's been busy on 3rd Street with valve replacements and just staying ahead of the paving crew. That way we don't have to put a new hole in a brand new road. So we're keeping up with that, and that's all I have this morning.
And thank you for your support for Tucker King's additional new position to what he's doing to you now. He is now float chairman. As Kiwanis has asked to have more floats next year, Tucker has taken on the responsibility of having a new City of LaPorte float for next year. I've spoke on the radio challenging Mayor Perry to bring a Michigan City float over here for the LaPorte versus Michigan City challenge, and I've assured him we will bring our float over to Michigan City's parade and we will take first place on their yard. Tucker, and we're excited to have Chief Breton and Chief Snyder involved in the decoration, so thank you for stepping up for that.
Mayor, I'll report Jen Knoll's husband's won the city golf championship many times, and we said if he wins it this year, we're going to do a float for him in the parade next year. So.
Oh, there's another one.
There we go.
I like it. Well, good. Well, that takes care of it. Mark Schreiber mentioned as well the Rec League championship, how many times we've won over your team, that you're going to do a float for our team, right?
Right.
All right. I like that.
Rose petals.
All right, any department heads that do not have business in front of this board can go have a fantastic day. Comments from our Board of Works members?
I would just reiterate that the 4th of July, I mean, what a wonderful day. And I thought I noticed that there were more floats than in past years. Everybody's trying to dial it up a notch, so love to see it continue.
Absolutely. All right. New business, request for use, Maple and Rye. We're kind of excited about this, so Brandon, come on over. We'll work with you.
Morning, everyone.
And state your name and address for the record.
Brandon Lowry. I'm at Maple and Rye, 709 Michigan Ave. Yeah, we were just trying to figure out a way to kind of like bring something cool to our area. I mean, I know it's done around too. We got the coffee and cars thing, but I thought maybe we could promote a little bit, outside, maybe like Valpo and, the surrounding areas and see what we could bring. Hoping to be able to do it like twice a month. We'll starting with once a month and see how it goes. We're also just trying to not be stagnant at our place. Like a lot of places are kind of just stuck in one thing and it doesn't work and then they fail and whatever. We are not doing the best, but we are, ahead right now. So I just thought maybe this would be kind of cool to bring to our area, promote a little bit of our food, promote some of the cars and the fun stuff that happens in LaPorte.
So your goal, and I've worked with Brandon on this, he wants to have 2 or 3 parking spaces out in front of your location?
Yeah, well, I just thought, like, at night, it seems pretty dead in that area, you know? So I thought, like, maybe if we could do it after the bank closes, maybe. And we also have a couple people that wanted to play. Like I mentioned to you, Jim Post was gonna come out. So I thought that would be kind of cool if we could maybe use the sidewalk and then have, you know, just cars there, cook inside, and just kind of bring out, I don't know exactly how we're gonna work that out yet, but, yeah.
Would you want, but you want, and again, the date is July 21st.
Yeah, I actually just spoke to him, and he said that it would probably be better for the 28th to give a little bit more time for the promoting.
So do you want to adjust this to the
If you could,
28th,
please,
which
yeah.
is a Sunday?
It's a Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the best time to day of the week to do that either, so.
A Thursday night, I think, would be great. And so your goal, though, would be to block off 3 parking spaces?
I don't know. I mean, like, I feel if he can play in the middle of, between the 2 doors at Maple and Rye on the sidewalk.
Okay.
And then if we could use maybe that front as vehicle parking or whatever, you know, just for the cars.
So not extend what you want to do into the parking spaces?
Originally, that's what we had thought, but I mean, there's enough space, I think, on that sidewalk for a band to set up. Not even a band, he's, you know, he's single.
And again, this is something new, so I'd ask the Board of Works kind of flexibility on this to try something different. And I think it'd be great to try one time to see how it works, and it will force you to come back again, but I think we can see what happens.
So so on that side, like right there by Maple and Rye, basically what you're asking for is to not have that, you know, half block of parking be available for parking, but have it be more space where sort of people could just, you know, pedestrians kind of almost like block off the parking spaces without blocking the road, right? Is that kind of?
Pretty much, we just wanted to be able to use those spaces for.
Or is that where the
The
like the classic
cars?
car, like,
Yeah,
you know, people pull up their, you know, vintage vehicles and park there as, okay.
yeah. And like I said, I mean, there's only like, I'm there most of the time. I only see like, you know, 1 or 2 vehicles out there. So I don't know if, you know, it would be that big of a,
Hindrance.
yeah.
Seems like after hours, right?
But
So-
you don't
Yes.
want to close off those parking spots because it could be open to anybody? Or do you
Well,
want to?
I would think that we would need a space where they were all lined up, you know, like we don't want like a
He-
Honda Civic and then a,
Right,
you know what I mean?
that's-
So,
He wants to, my understanding from what you're saying is you want to block off 3 or 4 spots for the classic cars that are right in front of Maple and Rye.
right, well, I was hoping to be able to
So
use
that
that whole
they're-
parking space
or
right
the
there, or the
whole-
I mean, I don't know if that's realistic or not, but I mean, what is that, like maybe 8 spaces or something like that right there in front? Okay,
7
Okay.
spaces?
Okay.
For the vintage cars?
right.
Okay.
I'll ask Craig, he's got a question. to
Yeah, I'd be
come.
thinking like, I mean, I think it's a cool idea, like how would we sort of, how do we police
I
who
think
is
it's a great
parking
idea.
versus not?
The only thing to keep in mind is we just have to keep ADA clearance accessible throughout that space.
Good
So
point.
it may be better to use a few more parking spaces to allow some flexibility in how you use that space, so that you can keep that sidewalk space, which is 4 feet. We have to maintain for ADA accessibility 4 feet clear of sidewalk somewhere in that stretch, continuously through there. That's the only factor I think we need to take into account.
So maybe,
It's pretty common for cities to take these kinds of, you know, requests and use parking spaces temporarily for these kinds of events. It's just a matter of making sure that we maintain that ADA access.
so maybe move the music to the parking space to keep the walkway
Yeah, that may be a
open?
that might be a better bet. If that, I don't know how wide that sidewalk is through there off the top of my head. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, there's a good amount of sidewalk space, but there's other kind of things in there. So what I would suggest is we can do something similar to what we do for outdoor dining and just have engineering and review that. We have an ADA coordinator, and they can make sure that there's, you know, compliance with the ADA, and then if we can just approve that, you approve it now, give us the authority to do that, and then we can make sure that, you know, you get everything set up the way you want it and everybody can still have safe access to. This is something that we're seeing more and more. It's a really great thing for cities to, you know, utilize spaces that aren't as utilized when business hours are over or whatever. A lot of communities are closing more streets down at night than this too, not just the parking areas, so.
Yeah.
So can I have a motion to approve based on engineering approval and working with Maple and Rye?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So just the last piece, the only last thing in my mind is like, because I love the idea of like classic cars, kind of something cool to check out, right? Hopefully help your business, help some others downtown, that little area. Let's say somebody pulls up, like how are you gonna manage who's gonna park in these spots?
We'll have staff, probably, I'll have somebody kind of be there to direct or figure something out of our staff.
I just figured,
I know, I didn't think of.
I'd be kind of
everything
comfortable,
yet.
like, okay, it's just someone using discretion, but I can see like, oh, then someone might get, unhappy that,
Yeah, or maybe we could give them,
that they're,
I don't know. a
Maybe
number.
there's no parking signs
could
until the
maybe put
vintage
signs.
cars are in
We
there.
can get you some signs that say no parking, the temporary signs.
Maybe at 3 o'clock, from
Yeah.
3 o'clock on or
You can write the
something.
times on there, we can just,
and then you might just, and I'm even thinking from the standpoint of like, once the, after-hours event kicks off, where, it's no parking, but you still want to have some cars parked there that are, people want to look at or whatever, then it'd just be at your discretion, like, oh, hey, we'll have these 3 cars park here.
Okay.
Or I'm just, I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
like, I'm just thinking through, that could be an issue. Somebody'd say, oh, hey, I want to park my 2020 Honda.
Yeah, right.
Because I think it's, I don't have one, but, anyway, I was just kind of thinking through that could be an issue, but
Yeah.
I suppose, you know what, we give it a shot and see what happens.
What time will the event start?
That's what I was trying to say. If we did it, maybe the bank closes at 5. So I mean, like maybe if we did like 5:30. I don't know how late we are able to be out there with live music. So I don't know if anybody knows.
Is there an
like,
ordinance for
11.
that?
11.
11 during.
11.
So, yeah, I mean, like we were also trying to, do maybe like I just donated to Coffee and Cars for their prize or whatever. I can't think exactly what I'm trying to say. But I thought maybe we could do that with a couple of local businesses here too, see if we can build something up, gift certificates or something, just to kind of.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that tell us like they have no idea we're here. So I thought like that's maybe something that would.
My concern is it could be overwhelming. It could draw a big crowd on a Thursday night. If it's
Absolutely.
promoted, so you have to make sure that there's enough room for people to move. You've got music. You don't serve alcohol.
No, I was actually going to talk about that too. I don't know if it's possible to bring in maybe bare bones or something like that to serve, or if it's just not enough space over in that area to do something like that.
Well,
Bare bones.
Yeah, I just don't know, like.
that's where I think you need to, when you look at it on a bigger scale, if you're thinking of doing something, and it might be that block.
Yeah, you have to have a plan for
Okay.
that. That has to be approved, that's sent downstate, so.
Okay.
But it's no big deal, it's just, but you gotta have a site plan, where the bar's gonna be and things like that.
Because of the
That's what
alcohol.
excise wants. That, they would have to do that as a server.
Okay.
They'd have to have that plan.
And they do it all the time, so.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm gonna make or there is a motion and a
There is.
second.
And the motion is for the 28th, right? Which,
For the
Yes.
28th.
okay.
I'm gonna ask to set up a meeting with engineering immediately. And what's today,
Sixth.
I'm gonna ask if you would come back and update the board on the, what's that, 20th?
20th.
No, 19th, 'cause it'll be
19th, because it's not
Tuesday.
a, right.
If you could be here, and we'll help promote it, and let's see what
Yeah.
happens, and just be
Better
prepared.
on the, yeah.
Be prepared for success, because I think it could be good.
Yeah, it sounds great.
All right.
Further questions? Hearing none.
Thanks for thinking about this and doing that. Are you part of the Main Street group? Is there still like a downtown Main Street?
Downtown Coalition, would you reach out? That's a great point. Charity from Hotspot.
Okay.
She will
Charity.
help promote Hilvasa,
Thank you. I can never say her last name.
Okay.
and reach
She's
out to
really,
her.
yeah, she's very involved in that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sure.
And you'll have your whole menu available is the goal?
I think that we're just gonna do a pretty limited menu because, well, first thing staff, and I don't know what, I just thought like, we might even just do like hot dogs, and just do some cool, like maybe 3 or 4 different like creative type of hot dogs. And maybe just fries, something like that, something quick that we can just get out.
Serve quickly,
Yeah,
have a lot of inventory of.
yeah, so, and we can kind of be involved too, I don't know how we're gonna exactly do it yet, but we're working on that too. Sorry, again, I wasn't as prepared. We literally thought about it like 2 weeks ago.
think about seating too, benches or whatever, so people have room to, and trash, that's important as well. So those are things to think about while you work together on this.
Okay.
So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Half-day fare for employees. What?
So you can get your elephant ear.
Yeah. Coming in on transport.
I feel like we need the whole day.
So traditionally, the City Board of Works has been asked to give our city full-time employees a half-day to attend LaPorte County Fair. And so that's what I'm here, asking for you to give our full-time city employees a half-day to attend the fair. And it's at their department head's discretion. We don't say, oh, everybody's off on a Thursday. We leave it to department heads so that they can work out the best schedules depending on what's going on in their departments.
Nice.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
I think the Board of Works members need to say what their favorite food is at the fair first.
What would you vote? Like Mark and I may have just shared
But
ours.
it's not really the elephant ear.
Walleye?
I'm a corn dog fan.
Oh, man.
Yeah, corn dogs are good.
The walleye sandwich at Tom's Tasty Taters is
Yeah.
delicious.
It's worth
I
going
don't
out
think
for
I've
a
had
half
it,
day.
so I'll have to try it, report back.
All right, further discussion? Hearing none?
Oh, well,
Oh,
yeah,
please.
quick. So, because we've done this before, right? So,
Yes.
have we had any issues with, staffing problems or complaints by staff, I didn't get the day I wanted, anything like?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I think there are sometimes because department heads do have to make some decisions, because they still have to keep staff. We're not closing.
yeah.
And so maybe there's some priority issues in each department, but for the most part, I've not heard of too many problems about it.
Sort of locally within departments, it's all been figured out, okay, okay.
Hopefully it gives you all opportunity, or everybody opportunity for family time too at the fair.
We could have a hot dog eating contest by departments.
Oh, God, no.
Joey Chestnut, how many?
And then he choked a guy out.
Oh,
Yeah, then he
please.
tapped him out while he was eating his hot dog, guy that attacked him. So, all right, all in favor,
We're not
state.
having that.
All in favor,
Thank you,
state by
Annette.
saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Chief Breton, lease agreement.
This is just basically a formality for one of our detectives who recently became an evidence tech and is driving a Charger that we lease from LaPorte Chrysler. We're just converting to a Durango. There's no money difference. We just have to update the lease because he has each car on the lease.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Andrea Smith.
You've skipped Jerry Jackson.
Oh, Jerry Jackson, I'm sorry, Jerry.
Are those scum pumps or sump pumps?
Scum.
You got it right, scum. Yeah, it's what, like pond scum, it's what floats to the top of the wastewater. It's nasty, awful stuff. Yeah. Takes a tough pump to handle that. I sent the mayor and the board members some information about it. The pump we have is vintage 1987. It's beyond its useful life. I got replacement quotes from 3 vendors. One responded they didn't have a suitable pump. Gas Voda GAI quoted a Vaughn pump, which was $33,940. Xylem quoted a dry pit submersible, which is a permanently mounted pump, but if it's ever submerged, it won't damage it. $25,880. They also quoted a submersible pump, which is in a wet pit. And I've had some conversations with John Phipps over at Nice about whether we could make that one work. I prefer that option because that option can be removed and then worked on from above. You don't need to make a combined space entry, which is, there's always the possibility of bad air or getting immersed. That one is $26,958.65. It's a pretty good sized pump. They're 15 horse pumps, hence the cost. And they're a little specialized to handle the material. My recommendation is for the flight submersible for the safety reasons. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big adder. Also, the current pump has failed, and so we're having to do a workaround to keep functioning. The submersible pump is readily available, which is, in this day and age, it's 2 weeks out. So because of the safety issues and the readily available, I'd recommend the Xylem submersible, the flight submersible pump.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Jerry, with some of this, is it fair to say you've done a really good job of updating all our infrastructure? Are we close to being?
Well, I'm going to bring a proposal to redo the headworks to the board in just a few weeks. So we've right now got the engineering to do the headwork. So it's an ongoing thing. There's always, but with the bond issue that we came out a couple years ago, that's helping us do a major rehab.
Good.
So.
Did GAI ever get you another?
They did not. I really expected it too, because the salesman sounded very enthused. He thought he'd have a better, more cost-effective. Yeah, he did not. So I was kind of surprised.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion passes. Andrea Smith.
Good morning again, Board. Andrea Smith, Director of Human Resources. I have 3 position changes that I would like to present to you today. The first one is simply changing the manager to a Director of Transport. Currently, the Manager of Transport conducts performance reviews, prepares budgets, comes up with plans for efficiency, and tracks the department's overall performance. These metrics clearly indicate why the position needs to be renamed to Director. All other department heads are referred to as directors, not managers. This department is the only one. So I'm asking for your permission to make this change.
Can we?
Do them all at once?
All at once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. The second one is changing dispatch/shift leader to assistant director/dispatcher. Most of our directors have an assistant or a backup. Again, transport did not, and was using a dispatcher to cover those duties when the director was out. The position is acting as an assistant director. As such, the job description needs to accurately reflect the duties and responsibilities of the position. This position was brought in front of the City Council last night for a pay increase, and I have Beth West, Director of Transport, here if you have any other questions.
Is this this person was already performing these additional duties that are in red on the description?
Some of them, not all of them.
But they
will.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
we're
that's
gonna
therefore
start
the
one-
pay increase.
Right, yeah, exactly. Once everything's approved, we're going to start cross-training once we slow down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're comfortable with it, I take
Oh,
it, based on?
definitely. Yep, yeah, please. Please.
You're okay with moving to a director position?
Yes.
Okay. And then, I'm sorry, did I miss the part-time?
No, go ahead.
Oh, can I ask a question about can I ask a quick question about the assistant director? What's the pay increase? I didn't see that in here.
It was about, Courtney was about $8,000 for the director.
It's going from $16.50 an hour to annualized, $19.50 an hour, but you have to annualize that because it's an exempt position, so.
Okay.
I think
So
it's.
I believe it's approximately $8,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and my last one is changing dispatcher to part-time relief dispatcher. The change in assistant director dispatcher facilitated the change in this position. The use of part-time and relief dispatchers will help fill any voids that may occur when the assistant director or /dispatcher is unable to dispatch. These changes will enhance transport communication and assist with breakdowns, accident, route changes, and any other emergencies that may occur. Again, I have Beth here with me if you have any questions.
Well, did the part-time person move to the assistant director?
No.
Oh, different people.
Yeah, our full-time dispatcher, is the one that's going to have a title change.
I got it. So you already have this part-time person, and it's been part-time the whole time?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And we're going to use them as relief also.
Yeah, we also have some drivers that are considered relief dispatchers also that were never really figured into the job descriptions. So,
Okay.
and that job description didn't change a whole lot. It was so old that we needed to modify it to bring it up to now.
Sure.
And there are no monetary changes within those two.
Good to know. Thank you.
So these, the second two, the assistant director and the part-time dispatcher, those are title changes, some role responsibility changes, and improved capabilities for each of those people to be able to kind of sort of support up one level? Is that what it?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, Bethany said it. Transport is on its way up, and again, we need the people and job descriptions to support that. Again, the only monetary change was changing the dispatcher shift leader to assistant director / dispatcher. That's the only monetary change.
And again, you've seen over the couple of years here, the cleanup that Beth's done, and now it's time to really make transport a viable option for all citizens across LaPorte. So we're excited about that.
And they're doing a great job there, they really are.
Great.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the changes.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Unfinished business, anything before the board or the board would like to comment on?
Still didn't get your favorite fair food.
Hey, I said the walleye, I'll do that. Any public comments, by the way?
Let's take a look here.
In the meantime, while Mr. Rose is checking, really congratulations to all the volunteers for the fair. I know when we had several folks come in, Drummond, the Ziegler ladies came in and.
The parade.
Parade. You
Oh,
said
that's
fair.
fair. Parade, yes. So, great flyover, and I think a great parade and event overall, so congrats, and I know they're not here, but thank you.
Brett Ben Versi commented January 5th through 7th, Thursday through Saturday for the NIBC. That's definitely those dates, and as the mayor mentioned, there may be additional teams which may add a day. Well, that's very tentative at this point. And then Chris Clenard commented, love seeing Maple and Rye trying to bring new things to downtown.
Great. Do I have a motion to approve, or to adjourn?
So moved.
I have
Second.
a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.